Do you find Instagram stories intimidating? Do they scare you? Do you feel like you are not worthy of showing up, or like you haven't got the skills to show up? Yeah, I used to feel like that too. I'm so pleased to have you back here with me. Today we are talking all about Instagram stories, what you should be sharing, why you should be sharing it, and I'm also going to share a couple of great examples at the end of this video of Instagram stories done really well. Instagram stories are your biggest opportunity in 2020 to build solid, lasting relationships with your audience that will stand the test of time no matter what happens to the algorithm, no matter what happens to Instagram or any other social media platform for that matter. They really are the best way to quickly build that know, like, and trust factor with your audience. So that is why they're so important. And plus, this is where your audience are spending most of their time. If you think about the way you use Instagram every single day, I'm willing to bet that for most of you, you start by swiping through your Instagram stories. The same can be said for your audience. And that is why you need to be there, interrupting their swiping with your content. Because if you're not there, you are missing a huge opportunity to get in front of them. Instagram stories isn't just a fad reserved for friends and family. Loads of brands and individuals are showing up there really, really well. And the great thing about Instagram stories is they don't need to be as highly edited or highly polished or as time consuming as main feed content traditionally is. So one of the biggest questions I get is, what should I share on Instagram stories? And I like to think about Instagram stories in two different ways. And I think this is really helpful to help us decide what we're going to share rather than just reeling off a list of different ideas like about us or day in the life, things like that. I think it's really helpful to categorize your Instagram stories in two different ways. And then you can make them your own and start to think of ideas beneath them. So I like to think of Instagram stories as value-driven Instagram stories and personal Instagram stories. Now, when I say personal Instagram stories, I don't necessarily mean showing up barefaced, crying about your day, talking about your intimate relationships with your friends and family. No, when I say personal, if you are a small business owner or an entrepreneur or even a side hustler and you want to focus on the personal aspects of you as an individual, as a business owner, as somebody traversing life trying to make something of themselves and make a business and build a brand and put it out into the world, you can do that in ways that are personal and ways that take people behind the curtain and put a face to the Instagram account. So when I say personal, what I mean is things like a day in the life, behind the scenes, introducing people to your employees or to your colleagues. Even if your colleague is just your furry friend right now, that is fine. Talking about your favorite podcasts or your favorite books, as long as they are relevant to your audience, of course. Talking about challenges that you have overcome in the last year or on your entire journey to become an entrepreneur. How did you overcome them? Talking about the achievements that you've had in the last year, talking about the people close to you, not necessarily your friends or your family, maybe they are, but talking about the people that have been really, really integral to your success and have helped you get through and have helped you achieve what you have achieved. So can you see the way that you can be personal and you can put a face to the Instagram account without really bearing your soul? You don't have to do that. It's just giving people a bit of an insight into your world. So that brings me on to value-driven Instagram stories. Now, value-driven Instagram stories, I like to think of these as mini blog posts. So they are your informative, valuable pieces of content shared via stories that you might share in a blog. Now, generally speaking, when you think of great blog posts, you think of blog posts that answer people's search queries. So think about the kinds of questions that your target audience will have and then package them up into stories. Now, you might share those as a how-to kind of story, as a tips and tricks story, as a tutorial. You might simply share an FAQ story, or you might share your thoughts and opinions on a particular event or trend that is happening in your niche or your industry. So for example, I would show up in Instagram stories and share my thoughts on why I think Instagram hiding likes isn't a bad thing. So it's those kinds of stories which are going to position you as a thought leader and an expert in your field. The more you do it, the more value you put out there, the more likely people are going to learn to trust you. And as I said, to value you as somebody who gets out there, gives great information, great help, great value, great content. And they're going to bear that in mind for the future when they're deciding whether they are ready and when they are ready to invest in your product or service. If you're sitting there wondering, thinking, well, what is more valuable? Is it the personal Instagram stories or the value-driven Instagram stories? Which should I be sharing more of? There isn't a right or wrong answer, and honestly, both are really valuable and both are really important. Why? Because yes, while the value-driven stories are you showing up and providing immense value to your audience, which they are going to love, and gradually, as I said, that's going to build that relationship with them, and they're going to trust that you are somebody that they can count on and that is really, really knowledgeable in your field. The personal Instagram stories are what is going to build that bond between you and your audience. Think of it this way. If you put you and your competitor in a room and you are both offering fantastic products or services, you both have similar price points, what is going to be the deciding factor for your target audience, your ideal customer or client? What is going to swing the deal for them between who they choose? It's going to be who they feel like they have more of a personal relationship with. And as I said, that doesn't mean you have to get on Instagram stories and pour your heart out, but just bringing people into your world a little bit more is going to build that relationship with them, and they're going to feel like they know you. And that is the beauty of Instagram stories. Because they are on there consuming the content of their friends and family, the more you show up there, the more you are going to feel like part of their extended friendship group. And that is fantastic. That is what we want. So now we're going to talk about a few ways to share, a few golden rules to remember when you're sharing Instagram stories. Now, as I said at the top of this video, the beauty of Instagram stories is that they don't have to be highly edited, highly polished. They don't need to be cinematic in any way. However, the content does have to be high quality, and they do have to tell a story. The clue is in the name. So that really is the golden rule with an Instagram story. You want to make sure that it has a compelling middle, beginning, and end. And when I say that, what I mean is by setting out what people should expect to see at the beginning of the story, delivering on it in the middle, and then ending with a clear call to action. Now, the reason having a good story arc is important is because retention rate is really important on Instagram stories. It's the way that the Instagram algorithm will measure whether you are a good Instagrammer, whether they should put more of your content in front of more people. And it also shows to you whether people are enjoying your content. And when I say retention rate, I mean the percentage of people that stay through from the beginning right through to the end. Now, of course, there's always going to be some drop off, but we want to be maintaining as many people as we can from the beginning to the end. And the best way we can do that is by giving them something that is worth sticking around for. And that really is by following basic principles that you would do with a film or a story, by setting the scene, delivering on it in the middle, and then having a call to action at the end. So to give you an example, if you were going to share a day in the life, you would start the story with a picture of your coffee and the text on the screen, or you talking to the screen, whatever, saying, "Hi guys, I'm going to walk you through my Monday and take you behind the scenes. We've got a busy day planned. I'm doing this, this, and this. I can't wait to take you along on the journey." The middle of your story, you're taking them along on that journey. And then at the end, you might say, "Thanks for watching, guys. It's, 9 p.m. and I'm in bed. What did your Monday look like? DM me and let's chat." For example. But that is a great way. And the reason you want to get people into your DMs is because you want to start showing your audience that you are there, you want to have conversations with them, and you're encouraging them to take the conversation off of the public-facing app and into that private space where it's just the two of you and you can start to build that relationship with them. So don't be afraid in the beginning, and don't be embarrassed or don't think you're doing anything wrong when nobody is DMing you. They won't in the beginning because you're starting it new and it's not something that they've seen you do before. The more you show up on Instagram stories and the more you put that call to action in your stories, the more people will DM you. But it takes time, and it takes habit that we have to build in our audience for them to follow through and to DM us. And don't forget, mix up the content types you're sharing. The good news is you don't have to have your face on camera all the time. Mix it up between text on a coloured background, face to camera, still images, videos of your surroundings. Mix it up a bit, a boomerang, throw one in there. The name of the game is diversity and keeping people engaged. And so the last thing you want to do is just throw up a load of images willy-nilly with no story and with no structure. So that really is the key. Just make sure you have a beginning, a middle, and end, and you mix up the types of content you're sharing. But you don't have to make it highly edited, highly flashy, anything like that. And I'm going to talk you through a couple of Instagram stories now to prove to you why I'm saying this. So the first Instagram story I'm going to show you as an example is a really lovely one from makeup artist to the stars, Lisa Eldridge. Now, she shared an Instagram story that isn't really anything to do with her or anything to do with her offer. It's not to do with makeup per se, but because she is a YouTuber, a prolific YouTuber and videoer of her makeup tutorials, she often has her rings in the shot, her beautiful rings that she wears. And one of the biggest questions she gets all the time is, how do you clean your rings? So she decided to answer that question with a really nice Instagram story. Literally, she just filmed the process that she does on a regular basis. She set the scene by telling us that this is what we were going to expect. She delivered on it with a few stills, a few video clips, and she also remembered to add subtitles to every clip in the story, which is brilliant because lots of people will be watching your Instagram stories without the sound. Some people will have hearing impairments. So if you add some subtitles for context, you will reduce the chance of people swiping away because they don't know what's going on. So it was a really lovely example of a great Instagram story, super simple, but super, super engaging and just really nice, gets the job done, and we know how to clean our rings now. Now the next Instagram story I'm gonna show you is from Cult Beauty. Now Cult Beauty know what their target audience loves, which is going behind the scenes into people's bathrooms and seeing their skincare routine. That is something that their audience loves. And so they've created a really nice story featuring one of their team members taking you through her skincare regime in her bathroom. Really simple, again, not highly polished. She's literally filming what she's doing in her bathroom, but it's perfect. It's got subtitles. It does what it says on the tin. We're engaged with it. She's showing us snapshots of all the products, which is really fulfilling their target audience's love of wanting to know exactly what products are being used in what order. It's perfect. It's great. They've really, they know their audience. They've nailed it, and they've created a simple Instagram story without spending a penny. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you are inspired and a bit less intimidated to start creating Instagram stories today. I promise you it is a lot easier than it looks, and it's a lot less intimidating than it might seem. Practice makes perfect. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll feel, and the better you will build those relationships with your audience. If you love this video, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you are notified every single week when a brand new video goes live. If you want to get your hands on more free resources, you can check the description box below. I have linked to a ton of them in there, including my free 4-day email challenge, which is designed for you whether you're new to Instagram or whether you've been on the platform for a while but you're feeling a bit stagnant and like you want to revitalize your Instagram strategy. That is for you. I will see you next Friday, guys. Have a great week. Bye.